if you already struggled a lot in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I'm trying to bake and cook some of the recipes in the game. It's so freaking delicious. For example, compared to Fae Farm, that goes against the grain because everyone has been talking about how Eastward is so amazing. The game freezes for me every now and again. It crashed twice. I don't think I would have purchased it if I knew that. Hello cookies, it's Siri, I am back, and today we're going to talk about Octopia, the DLC slash kind of little sequel of Eastward. Today's format is going to be a bit different because I'm going to do a quick technical review and then we're just going to discuss the game. This review is going to be entirely spoiler free and I'm going to stick to the very first days of the game when it comes to the visuals you see, because I have had so much fun discovering everything and seeing the things myself. It's really worth it. It's really fun when something new, something fresh, something exciting happens, something pretty, I'm not going to say more, or a new area unlocks. John and Sam, the main protagonists of Eastward, are back, but this time they are sent to another parallel world, or maybe another continent or another country, where they end up in a deserted little village and start to take care of a farm, of some animals, and some more people come in. Basically, it's more or less the same trope as a lot of other farming sims. Eastward Octopia is as beautiful as the main game. I love the pixel art and the color choices. I have a thing where I don't like games that are too desaturated, but games that are oversaturated look really cheap to me, and I've marveled numerous times looking at the game because for me it's just so fantastically beautiful. And then the transitions from day to afternoon to evening and the sunset, and just the attention to details and how some of the items move in the backpack. And I'm also quite particular with music in games or with sounds in general, where I don't like really high-pitched noise. It's just so uncomfortable to me and it can give me headaches and migraines. So any voices or sounds or things that pling and it's really high pitched, it's just not my thing at all. In Eastward and Eastward Octopia, for me it's just the right level. Onto the not so good technical things, the game freezes for me every now and again. By the time I finished the game, it crashed twice. The first time I was extremely busy and it crashed towards the afternoon. I had to redo a few things, but I remembered what I was doing. The second time it crashed something like 10 minutes before 8 p.m. and at 8 p.m. you're sent back to the house to eat dinner and you cannot continue playing anymore. And I did so much in the game, I was so productive, and when it crashed I went, no. And I managed to get a fish that I had been looking for, and of course I did not get to see that fish again for a very long time. It has happened that there's some weird bugs and weird freezes, and especially when fishing, it gets really slow. Fishing is already not the easiest thing to do in the game, at least for me at the beginning, and so when that happens you're just like, oh well, I guess I will lose this fish. Or when it freezes on the screen, I just restart the game and of course I lose my progress. I have been lucky enough that I have been so selective lately with which games to play that I have not really experienced freezing like that. So when it froze, I thought my Switch was broken because I was used to such good games. If at some point I hear about some patches, I will put it in the description down below, pinned, so you can check in the future if it has been patched. There are a lot of quality of life features that I really like in the game. You can press B and run, or in the settings you can set your walking speed to run in so that when you press B you walk instead. Actually, not being able to run in a game is something that I really dislike. The backpack is magical because it's endless. You can carry as many things as you want. As you can tell by now, I'm a big fan of the game and I like it way more than the full Eastward game. I am usually more into turn-based combat and I like grinding to get better items, better weapons, or to level up. And that is something that is not really available in the main Eastward game. I remember reading that people were complaining about the difficulty of the boss battles, and I was breezing through the boss battles. So the first boss came, I think that one took me 2 tries or 3 tries because I did not understand what to do. But then after that, next boss 1 try, next boss 1 try, next boss, and so on. So I thought, this is not that difficult. I don't know what people are talking about. Until I was hit with one boss that I just could not defeat, and I tried for many days and I could not. And I got frustrated and stopped playing. Usually when it's JRPGs or RPGs, I don't mind grinding, and I can spend a week or 2 or even a month grinding. I grinded so much in Octopath Traveler 2, Dragon Quest XI's, in the old Pokemon games. I could spend a month just grinding, and I have a schedule either written or in my head that I'm just going to grind, and it's okay. I can listen to a podcast, I can just do whatever I want. There she is! I don't know, you cannot see her, Cookies, but she's here now. She's giving me kisses. Baby! There she is. She's just, you wanna try to come? You wanna try to come sit next to me? No? Yes, I love you too. I was saying that I don't mind grinding for a long time, but it has to be a guaranteed 100% victory. In Eastward, I knew that I could not grind and that I just needed to rely purely on skills or on luck or something, but I got stuck. I don't review games unless I finished 3/4 or 100%, and usually it's 100% because I feel like if I have not done as much of the game as possible, I cannot tell you about glitches, bugs. With Eastward, that's why I never made a review, because I felt like, according to what I read, I am a bit over half of the game, but for me that's not enough to make a full review. I want to finish at least 3/4 of the full game to make a review, and then I stopped playing. And why I'm talking about Eastward is that some people are wondering whether it's worth buying the main game to get the DLC with it. So if you already struggled a lot in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and no shame in that, Cookies, I think I managed all of them apart from the last boss there. We had to try a couple of times. I played with my ex. I played It Takes Two with Sebastian, and I think the first boss we actually struggled as well because we did not get it. But then after that we more or less breezed through, but some of the bosses we still had issues with them. So if you had big issues or you were really frustrated or struggling with bosses in Kirby and the Forgotten Land and or It Takes Two, in Eastward, I think the bosses are much more difficult to defeat, and especially if you're not really into action gaming and non-turn-based games where you have to be quick, where you have to have a strategy to kill the boss, where you have to mind how much life you have left, etc. It might be frustrating for you. And I know that goes against the grain because everyone has been talking about how Eastward is so amazing and all the reviews are overwhelmingly positive, and that's one of the reasons I purchased it. But I don't think I would have purchased it if I knew that the bosses would be so difficult. In terms of value for money, after a patch where they would address the freezing, the bugs, the crushing, I think it would be great value for money because I bought it on sale upon release. I have had such a grand time with the game that it's totally worth it. For example, compared to Faith Farm that I purchased upon release, it was released on my birthday, so I thought, yes, birthday present. I had been looking forward to it so much, and for me it's really not good value for money. It's so expensive for a game that to me is worth at most 12 euros. Onto my super subjective view of Eastward Octopia, the game has everything that I want and nothing that I don't want. I don't care for relationships in games, romance in farming sims or JRPGs or things like that. For me, that's always something that I consider a minus. I definitely do not want to have children in any game. For example, in games where you have morals that you have to pick different morals. So for example, Disco Elysium or Triangle Strategy. I have not played PAL World. I'm not interested, but I have seen a few videos, and apparently you can do really terrible stuff to your pals. I would be the type of person, even in games, I would treat people nicely, fairly, when there are moral dilemmas and moral things you have to choose, like in Disco Elysium or Triangle Strategy. I would always play as I would play in real life, as Eerie. I would not be someone who does like evil stuff in games because it's not fun for me. It's the same thing with romance and children in games. I don't think it's fun in real life, and I see no advantage for me having children in games. It's just like, no, I don't like the whole idea. I don't want deep relationships either with people when I play chill, relaxing, cozy games. I use Octopia as a palate cleanser or as a chill thing in between my classes, and at the moment it's very demanding because I'm doing reporting and it's based on a new law that the EU has published, and it's very complicated and difficult and my brain is melting. So when I want a break, I play Octopia, and also I'm playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, which to me is also a little bit heavier because I have to focus more on the story and on the characters. So when I want to really just relax, I don't want deep relationships and a deep story. When I play Octopia, it's really just to chill. Some of the negative things I have read about Octopia is that people wish the relationships with the characters were deeper, and I disagree. Yes, the relationships are shallow, but I love that about the game. It's just nice people interacting with each other in a light-hearted, non-deep way. And for me, that's one of the magical aspects of Octopia, the fact that it's really just chill and so different from all the other games that try to have deep stuff. If I do deep stuff, then I play much deeper games with heavier stories that can be quite dramatic, like Octopath Traveler 2. I don't know why people want the games to all be the same. Don't try to turn Octopia into Stardew Valley. One thing I love with Octopia as well is that the list of things you have to achieve or get is not a crazy long list. So for example, crops, fish you can fish. It's not hundreds of them. I have never played a game that has such a short list of fish that you can fish, and I love that. I don't need 85 types of ores and minerals and precious gems. I don't need 200 fish. For example, I really love Cozy Grove, but there are so many things there. I played Maranian Tavern Story that I reviewed on this channel. There are so many recipes and ingredients. It's just so freaking many. I love that in Octopia, the map is quite small. You have to discover some areas to progress the story, but it's not an open world, gigantic world. And same thing there. If I want an open world, gigantic world, I don't usually turn towards cozy games. I want a contained, small world that I know I can finish exploring before it's 2025. For me, that's less daunting. It's less of a task of like, okay, I have to do this and that. If the devs of Octopia are watching this, please don't change the game. Don't make the relationships deeper. Don't make the map huge. Don't add tons of things if you are going to add DLCs to DLC, because it's so nice that you offer something that others don't offer at the moment. You offer a truly relaxing, chill experience that is not daunting, that is not crazy difficult. It's just nice for my soul, and I don't want it to turn into Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing because I don't like those games, or Fae Farm. If I wanted to play those games, I would just play those games. You know that I love the Doraemon Story of Seasons games. I have talked about them many times on this channel, reviews, gameplay, and I have also talked about how I use them to learn German, and you can use them to learn English, Italian, French, German. It's actually really good, and they are so crazy beautiful, but it's also a huge map, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to collect, and a long story. I have more than 100 hours in each one of the two games. I am more than halfway through, at least I'm almost done, but it's such long games. I actually think that because Octopia is so much shorter and less complicated, I think I like it a little bit better. It's weird because the Doraemon games feel more epic and grand and fast, but Octopia feels more relaxing, as in truly relaxing, because I know that I can achieve a lot of things in one session. It took me a week to more or less finish the game, and that's with school full time, going to the gym. I have a shoulder injury, so I have to be careful with that. I have a dog, of course. I have been baking. I baked imoyokan from Octopia. I'm trying to bake and cook some of the recipes in the game, and I am so pleased because I made the beignet and I made the imoyokan, and the imoyokan is so freaking good. Sweet potato, agar-agar, I put some maple syrup in. And vanilla. Oh, cookies, it's so freaking good. I have some. If you were here, I would offer you some because it's so freaking delicious. If you enjoyed this video and if you like this long format of talking about a specific game or talking about gaming or really just having my subjective opinion about certain things, then let me know. And if you're new to the channel and you feel like staying around and becoming a cookie, then you can also subscribe because now you've seen the video and you know whether you like me and my content or not. And cookies, let me know if you like the Fire Emblem games because it's so freaking nice. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye.